Welcome back. In this episode of Weediya, we will take a look at the overview of the assembly election results, particularly those which occurred in UP, in Goa and in Punjab, why those results occurred in precisely the manner that they did. We want to touch a little bit about the backdrop of the elections, particularly the issue of demonetisation and the issue of corruption. Gautam, did Prime Minister Modi's brave idea of demonetisation pave the path to the stupendous victory in the UP Assembly election?
The demonetisation carried out on the 9th of November last year was actually an aspect of the anti-corruption drive of the government, which has been launched with such great vigour by Prime Minister Modi. People in UP and elsewhere are reported to have been saying that yes, the demonetisation did cause us inconvenience and we were unsettled, but it also punished those who are responsible for the biggest corruption scams which have bedeviled India for so long. So the ordinary person was fully cognizant of the meaning of this dramatic, indeed unprecedented measure, which, by the way, I understand was opposed by most economists, including many who were advising the government. But apparently the Prime Minister has yet again been proven right.
Over all those economists who were doomsday naysayers.
It transpires that the Prime Minister had the temerity to even ignore the oracle from Harvard
in
adopting this policy of demonetisation, which has now been shown to have basically, well, splendidly.
The oracle from Harvard, do you think he should now retire?
I think there will be no such luck. He will be there to haunt us for many more years, but it is not relevant anymore to the future of India and the direction is taking, as the results in the Uttar Pradesh election have just shown us all.
A lot of people have been proven wrong in this particular assembly election. A lot of people. I'm not even going to talk about people from the various parties, from the various so-called opposition parties. But what about the media analysts who have somehow been proven almost completely wrong? Did they not pick up, forget about the Modi wave, this was a Modi tsunami. Did they not pick up this undercurrent?
I think it is always important to bear in mind that the Indian media, particularly the mainstream English language media, is really a player in the politics of India. They are not independent, objective observers. So for them, this loss is a very personal loss. It is almost as if they were participants in the election in the background to those parties which have brought India to this desperate, sorry pass, which is being savagely curtailed by a determined Prime Minister.
So, Gautam, my next point is that the ATMs stayed dry, they ran dry, and they were dry for a very long time. The implementation wasn't quite what it promised to be. And yet, the voters, especially from the rural backgrounds, those voters seemed to trust the best intention of the Prime Minister.
A lot of the disruption to economic activities which was being predicted by economists, who, by the way, pretty much en masse opposed the demonetisation, and that includes the Harvard oracle and many others. But it transpires that many transactions in rural India were conducted on the basis of trust in face-to-face transactions and really on credit. So the disruption was not quite as great, and there were all sorts of ideas being floated about GDP declining 3%, 2%, which is a big number. It seems that if there has been a decline, and we are not absolutely sure, it was somewhere between 0.4 and 0.6%, and the trajectory of the economy has basically remained intact.
So, Saiswaroopa, we saw this in the Lok Sabha elections in 2014. We are seeing this again in the Assembly elections in 2017. Is this the first time that a Prime Minister has managed to transcend the barriers of caste and get people to vote en masse for him in an Assembly election? And does this signal a new dawn for the politics in India?
I think so, because as Professor mentioned, demonetization was one very bold step that cut across the lines of caste. So anybody who was on the ground seeing the all kinds of crimes happen, right from human trafficking to Naxalism to smuggling over the border, and so because of demonetization the common man could see the crime go down. So it's, whether or not a person belongs to a certain caste or whether his caste is being represented, or that really don't matter to the common man, and Prime Minister Modi has successfully cut through the caste lines and united the common man.
Gautam, do you have anything to add to what Saiswaroopa has said?
I share very much the sentiments which Saiswaroopa has expressed, that ordinary people voted according to issues rather than caste. But there's something deeper. I think we who live in cities and have a relatively comfortable life underestimate the motivation and instincts of the vast mass of people across India. They are people who are actually motivated by faith, and a faith which teaches them the value of honesty and justice. And it is my sense now that they have actually always wanted the same things over many decades. Indeed, over the 70 years since independence, they wanted a slightly better life. I don't think they were all greedy, wanting everything.
No. Not at all.
All at once.
Not at all.
And that is what they've always voted for.
Yes.
And it is the political leadership which has betrayed them again and again with slogans rather than action.
So is this the first time we are seeing a Prime Minister who is willing to walk the talk?
Not only that, you see, in between what happened, another group of people began to take advantage of caste identity to promote themselves and their families. These were all family enterprises, and they turned out to be dacoits. The scale of the robbery which was taking place in UP by the prominent parties is what made the ordinary person turn against them. That was the key. Demonetization was an important accessory to this grand larceny which was taking place. And in the case of Modi, people actually still voted for the same issues, but they had conviction
that he would deliver.
And he would deliver because of his record in Gujarat and because of his record in governments in Delhi since 2014, and of course the dramatic demonstration of determination of taking this hugely risky and in the end successful demonetization, that the people of India have said, we want those things which you have been promising us, bijli, sarak, pani, sachai. And we believe this man will give it to us, and so far I don't see that he has disappointed them.
Can I ask, therefore, is this assembly election vote, even in Punjab, a vote against corruption?
Absolutely. And I fear that the ruling party suffered some taint because of the poor reputation of the party with which they were associated. And the
in Punjab.
The people of Punjab were actually looking desperately and in despair for somebody who would deliver honesty, but they couldn't quite buy the idea that it would come from up which is why their vote was split. Really, the Punjab outcome is an expression of rejection at the political process that they have suffered for so long.
The Aam Aadmi Party, just switching very quickly to the Aam Aadmi Party, 38 out of 39 candidates lost their deposits in Goa. And if you looked at the internal survey, which I'm just bringing up on the screen now, the internal survey of AAP, these were the posters which were put up in Goa, said 41% of the vote was going to the Aam Aadmi Party. And then, of course, 38 out of the 39 candidates lost their deposits. They also were celebrating, they were caught on camera celebrating just 2 or 3 days before the loss in Punjab. Yes, they did gain 22 seats, but nowhere was this sort of, consistent with their internal surveys, which were talking about 85 seats in Punjab.
The Aam Aadmi Party is really only taken seriously by the media which created it. And with the decline of the credibility of the media, the creation of the Aam Aadmi Party has also suffered huge setbacks. The people of Goa knew they had an alternative, and that's what they voted for. They did not have to go down this route that we saw in the Punjab.
In Punjab, in Punjab, was there some sort of an idea which the people got that that the Aam Aadmi Party was possibly flirting with people from the old Khalistan liberation fronts and things of that sort? Was that one of the reasons why they actually did not vote for them?
A very important and large segment of the electorate would undoubtedly have noted this and rejected this kind of politics, which is so dangerous for Punjab and India. But in the end, you see, I don't think the votes they and the Congress party got were affirmative votes. These were votes against the ruling dispensation. This was a negative vote. And what has come about is simply a result of that.
Right, so Saiswaroopa, I'd like to ask you this question. See, if we go to the 67 out of 70 seats which the Aam Aadmi Party won in Delhi not so long ago, and now they've gone to the sorry situation where deposit zabt ho gaya majority of the candidates ka in Goa. What has happened?
Actually, one really sad fact is that this party has damaged the prospects of any civil society movement in the future for a whole generation or even the next maybe. Yes. I personally know many people who have given up jobs in Canada, US and come to campaign for Arvind Kejriwal and lost a lot of their money and are so disappointed with him personally. And it's a sadder fact that he's from IIT KGP, from where I studied too. But then, on a lighter side of things, we all appreciate a good laugh in the electoral system. And I think KAP was, as Professor said, it's a media creation and it gave us the entertainment that we wanted. But now it's kind of getting boring with a lot of U-turns. We've lost count of the U-turns. And then, going out of Delhi, again, on the ground, the voter tends to be more intelligent than how the media makes him out to be. And the Goan citizen wanted more than...
The Goan citizen knew what was happening effectively.
Exactly. And maybe we should thank the people of Delhi for giving
for swallowing the problem.
Yeah, swallowing the hala, I guess.
Gautam sir, would you like to add something to what Saiswaroopa has just said? I mean, have people got a taste of the pudding which the Aam Aadmi Party was offering, and have they sort of come to the conclusion that they did not like this pudding at all?
Well, I think Saiswaroopa is unfortunately absolutely right to say it has delivered a very severe setback to civil society movements, and that really is unfortunate. But beyond that, one should recall that it is now a one-man show. Virtually the entire leadership of the AAP, it started out with, has abandoned the party.
In fact, there's a poem on this somewhere I read on the internet.
So people must be wondering. But if you think about Goa actually is a state with a real economy, which depends on real economic activity. They can't afford this kind of charade.
Right.
Which Delhi, depending mainly on the public exchequer, can well afford to indulge in. So that is why I think the Goans did not want to have any dalliance with this nonsense.
Right. Now, if the Aam Aadmi Party was to, if there was to be an election today in Delhi, not an MCD, but if there was to be an assembly election in Delhi, how many seats do you think the Aam Aadmi Party would get?
My own estimate is that the illusion has now gone.
Right.
And with it,
the free Wi-Fi.
Yes.
The free Wi-Fi which Arvind Kejriwal was going to deliver.
And I think people have had their fun.
15,000 CCTVs.
And people have had their fun. And I think the Aam Aadmi Party would be hard put to survive and rule over Delhi. And one must recall their disgraceful abuse of the Lieutenant Governor and the abuse against the Prime Minister.
Well, there was also the abuse against the black citizens in the middle of the female black citizens in the middle of
there have been
Delhi.
So many missteps and so many accounts of bad behavior, the ill treatment of Africans living in India as a guests of the Indian people. I think there is nothing left to expose of their incompetence and misdeeds.
Is it a case of the path to hell was paved with good intentions, or were the intentions flawed to begin with?
I think they were sponsored by the ruling party to initially split the vote. But in the end, the ruling party itself suffered the largest setback. Indeed, I understand they were most upset. But AAP was designed to serve a purpose which was to hurt the prospects of the BJP, which they were successful in doing in Delhi. But it didn't go really beyond that. And frankly, I mean, this is not a very interesting issue. It is a very marginal matter for the Indian Union. Delhi actually is a very large local government. It is only a state in name.
Okay, I mean, I won't talk too much now about the international chief minister of India. Gautam, this is a question to you. Is it not really connected? It's not really connected, this question, to our discussion in a way, but it's an interesting question which I've had in my head for quite some time. My sources tell me that the oracle from Harvard harbored some ambitions to become the president of India. And do you think there was some truth to this?
My sources tell me that he was promised support by the previous Prime Minister, but then my sources also tell me he offered the same support to one other individual at least.
You've said quite a lot without saying very much. Well, that's it for now for the 4th issue of Weediya. We hope that you enjoyed it and you will continue to share it and continue to watch it. Thank you very much. We'll be back soon.